guys, it's Corinne here again doing my second vlog on synesthesia. For those of you who hadn't seen my first vlog, you can access it up here. And in that first vlog, I gave a little bit of a background on synesthesia because I myself am a synesthete, which basically means that some of my sensory input gets crossed. So my particular type of synesthesia is gustatory visual synesthesia, which means that basically when I taste something, I see stuff, which is kind of weird, but it's completely normal for me. It tends to manifest a lot when I drink beverages, specifically root beer. So in my first vlog, I taste tested 6 different root beers. And I gave basically my reactions to them with graphs and everything. So by the way guys, there's not actually a name for the type of synesthesia that I have. I kind of made it up based on the naming conventions that I've seen in research. So gustatory referring to taste, and visual obviously referring to eyesight sensing. When I taste something, I might see a shape, I might see a color, or think that the taste has a color associated with it, or I'll generate a graph in my head of what the taste looks like in my head. So that's kind of what you guys can kind of expect when I'm going to be taste testing these root beers. So again, if you guys want to check that out, the link is available. So in today's vlog episode, I am continuing to taste test some new different root beers than last time, and I kind of wanted to have a little theme about it. So when I went to Rocket Fizz, which is where I get my root beer, and they have a million different selections of not only root beer but soda in general. It's in Winter Park, you guys should check it out. When I went there, I was like, okay, I should do some type of theme this time. So the very first root beer that I picked up was Dad's old-fashioned root beer. So I was like, okay, maybe we can have like a dad theme. So I started to go through all the different options, looking for things that might relate to my dad or make me think of my dad. I came across a couple more. Death Valley root beer, he really loves going on trips, especially in the Southwest, and to all the like monuments and national parks. And he's been to Death Valley, so that made me think of him. So, the Three Stooges. If there was a 4th Stooge, he would be it. And he really loves the Three Stooges. So anyway, these kind of represent the dad theme. And then as a 4th one, we also have Virgil's, which I taste tested in my first vlog, and Tara, my collaborator, and I liked Virgil's so much that I just had to bring it back to taste test it again. So Tara, if you want to join.
So hi, I'm Tara. I do not have a superpower. As I said in the last video, I helped her taste test some root beers, and while they were delicious, I didn't see like amazing graphs and have, you know, like flavor explosions.
But your reactions and input are still valuable, so.
Yes, and I get to drink root beer, so this is great.
Awesome. So first we're gonna taste test the Dad's root beer. Looks like that. All right, cheers.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, you can go.
It tastes a little flat, but that's just like not a graph flat, but like carbonation flat. It's really sweet.
Yeah, it is very sweet. So actually, Tara's not far off in terms of her reaction. The graph kind of that I have in my head but this one is fairly flat. Oh, it has a tiny curve, like almost like a little cushion, almost like you're sitting down in a cozy little chair. But the graph isn't super interesting in terms of like any, you know, sharp points or being really, you know, wide or anything. So it's kind of like a cozy little chair. Mm-hmm. It has a little backing to it. It is very sweet.
Like a recliner, like something a dad would sit in.
Maybe. Exactly. It's true to its name. It's a pleasant little flavor. It's not too complex of a flavor and not too complex of a graph. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Nice.
So the graph that I generated in my head from Dad's root beer looks a little bit like this. Okay, so the next root beer that we are taste testing is Death Valley root beer, a taste of the Old West. So
I can't wait.
I know. Yeah. These are all brand new to me, so it's pretty exciting.
Although I really like Virgil's too now.
I know, we're looking forward to that one. And that's what that one looks like. All right, as with tradition now, cheers. Ooh.
You go ahead.
Yeah. That one like just jumps up straight away, like in the graph. I almost feel like I'm on like a roller coaster, like wee. Like, you know those those rides where like all of a sudden you get shot up?
Oh yeah, like
yeah,
the Tower of Terror or something?
Yeah. Some of them drop you and some of them like spring you up, shoot you up. This one shoots up like all of a sudden. And so the graph is like from your vantage point goes like wee, and then it like kind of descends. So yeah, what about you? What do you taste?
So ever since I did the first video with you and your description of what these flavors taste like, I can kind of get a sense of what a graph would look like. But for me, I don't generate a visual, but I do get like the flavor profile of what that would actually be. So like, I do feel like this had a sharp flavor, and that like the carbonation was sharp, and it like kind of almost burned my tongue a little bit.
Okay.
And this seemed colder, so I don't know if that had to do with like the flavor.
Interesting.
But I do like this one. It kind of reminds me of Virgil's.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. I don't know.
So like we'll taste test Virgil's, but from what I remember with that one, it starts out like smooth and then it like
and then it shoots up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I feel like the point at which it shoots up is at a different point in the taste journey.
Okay.
The flavor journey. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. So anyway, the
dining with a synesthete who has this type of synesthesia is actually like very entertaining, because I can like, it makes me enjoy what I'm drinking more.
Well, and you're starting to like, I'm starting to probably make a little bit of sense to you when
and
like
does.
you can associate like what you're tasting with what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the graph that I generated in my head when I had the Death Valley root beer looks a little bit like this. So the next root beer that we are taste testing is the Three Stooges Wise Guy root beer. So I'm really excited to see what this one is all about. I kind of am expecting some like just wise guy flavor, whatever that means.
You're the one that's gonna see it.
I'll see it. Maybe I'll see some wise guys. Who knows? Ooh. It's wide and it stays low. It like takes over across the entire graph. Like it almost like flows outward like the parting of the Red Sea or something like that. It just like, it feels like it starts in the middle of your mouth and then, and the graph, and it just goes outward and it covers the entire graph, but it still stays low. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of carbonation in that one too.
Like a
yeah, it just instantly expands outward. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, what do you take out of it?
It's fizzier, so I can maybe see how it would like the carbonation would spread like across my tongue. I do like the flavor. It's malty. Yeah. So it has like I would say it has a deeper flavor than the other two. I don't know if you have that association. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. It just tastes maltier to me. Would be, but like color wise,
yeah,
I don't have a color.
Okay. Well, no, deep in terms of like, remember in the last vlog how I said that one of them had a baritone type flavor? I'd say this kind of has a baritone type flavor, and that stays low. So I picture it having kind of like a low tones to it. So anyway, yeah,
it is good. I've liked the two that we've had so far.
Yeah, and they taste all very different.
Actually, the three.
Yeah,
the three that we've had so far.
They've all been very different. So cool. Yeah. So the graph that I generate in my head for Three Stooges root beer looks a little bit like this. So guys, the last root beer that we were taste testing is Virgil's, and as I said, we already taste tested this in the first vlog, but it was so good and had a really cool graph, and so we wanted to share it with you guys again. So we'll just do a little bit.
Teaser pours.
Oh, yeah, looks like that. All right, cool. Cheers.
Cheers. I do really like this one still.
It's so good.
It's still my favorite.
So what do you taste or? kind of sense when you drink this?
So we were just talking off camera about the Dad's root beer and how it was very like monotone and there wasn't a lot of flavor profile to it. This one has a lot of stuff going on. Like I feel like it's not just one flavor of sweetener or caramel or maltiness. There's like a lot. Yeah. But a graph, I do not have.
So my graph is, again, it's actually one viewer asked me if I see the same graphs each time I taste the same thing.
Yeah.
And I said yes, and that's what happened here again. It basically had a very smooth flavor journey where I'm kind of like skimming across the surface of some water and that it ascends at the end of the graph. And yeah, it was just like last time. So it was really good, and it has a cool graph too. So yeah, so good.
And then when she says that, I associate again like the carbonation to what you are making as your graph. And it's very like flat on my tongue, and then the carbonation kind of spikes at the end like when I swallow it. So there's like a difference between like front mouth feel to back mouth feel.
Yep. And I think that corresponds to where along the graph, like
you
the
are
left part
things.
of the graph that's closest to the y-axis would be the front of the mouth, and maybe the end of the graph that's furthest from the y-axis would be like the back of my mouth maybe. So yeah.
Can you train synesthesia?
You learn to what I'm experiencing with, and you can associate that with what you're tasting. You might start to see what I'm talking about, and
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Whether
we're gonna make you a synesthete.
Yeah, whether this is scientific or not, it sure is fun.
So the graph that I generate in my head when I drink Virgil's looks a little bit like this. I have to say that none of the graphs that I've generated this week, with the exception of Virgil's, which was from last episode, look at all like the graphs from last episode. So it's really, really cool.
Were they spectacular though? I feel like some of the ones that you had, like the explosion and like the tight ball, and like there was a lot more, I feel like, variance among the root beers last time.
I think you'll see variance when I actually draw
when
the
you
graphs
drop
out. Yeah. So as like last time, I mixed all of the root beers together to see what it tastes like and looks like as a graph. So this should be interesting, right?
This is my first time with all of them. So. Does it
tastes a little bit like the Dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's less of, there's not as much shape to this.
The explosion, there's not a lot of explosion happening.
I actually saw kind of like a ball, not a fuzzy ball, just a ball. It's not super defined, and it's a pleasant enough taste, and it's a pleasant enough graph, but it's not that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't taste gross with like all of the root beers. I mean, it still tastes like a root beer.
Right. But it tastes the most like Dad.
It tastes most like Dad's, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the flatness.
Yeah.
Has kind of gone over all of them.
Right. Yeah, and last time.
The darkness.
I know. And last time with the vlog, where I tasted the 6 and I combined 6, crazy. It took on kind of one of the flavor profiles a little bit. It kind of mimicked one of them more closely than the others, as opposed to becoming something completely new. So it's interesting. So the graph that I generated in my head with all the root beers combined looked a little bit like this. Well, anyway, thank you for joining me on this latest vlog episode, and I hope you will join me on my future
Fun with Flags
root beer tasting episodes, as well as I'm gonna expand to other types of beverages. I don't just drink root beer. Maybe food. We'll start with beverages, expand to food. I also love orange soda and
I like orange soda too.
And there are lots of different types of those too. So anyway, there will be a lot more episodes coming up, and it should be fun.
Yeah, it was always a pleasure, and anytime you want to have a guest star.
Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining me on the latest episode of Synesthesia Adventures, and I hope to see you guys on the next time around. Bye.